My stepdad was starving, yet, I could have never anticipated this unfolding, a heart-wrenching tale of betrayal. I used to believe that boundaries could hold, as long as you had enough self-control. But that night, when his gaze quietly met mine, right there in the familiar kitchen, I knew something had shifted. We didn't say anything wrong. No words, no touch, just silence, stretching too far. I couldn't name what I felt. I only knew, from that moment on, I wasn't the same anymore. My mother exuded an air of polished confidence. Her every action steeped in a sense of duty. Her hair, styled with meticulous care, flowed in soft waves over her shoulders, perfectly mirroring the grace of her movements. A young man felt an undeniable pull towards the woman beside him. His gaze locked onto her, every heartbeat amplifying the intensity of the moment. It is not my intention to imply that my mother lacks virtues or is unappealing. Indeed, she does, and in a profound way. Her beauty is a force, an intoxicating presence that ensnares the hearts and minds of everyone who dares to gaze upon it. Her unwavering courage and resolute spirit draw everyone in, leaving them spellbound by her presence. Yet, what truly left an impression on me was the manner in which she ensnared the heart of such a youthful and charming man, brimming with vitality and life. In that fleeting moment, the weight of their choice to confront her began to unravel before me. It was sheer happenstance that I found myself in that place, a twist of fate that felt almost surreal. It was never my intention to see them. I made my way to the kitchen, the weight of thirst pressing down on me, desperate for a glass of water. Yet, in an instant, her laughter pierced through the air, drawing my gaze with an unexpected intensity. I watched my mother and her partner, captivated by the delicate presence of their hands as they brushed against one another, and the intense glances that hinted at an unspoken bond between them. In that fleeting moment, it seemed as if the very fabric of reality unraveled, leaving her utterly alone in a void of silence. My mother's extraordinary talent ensnared her partner's attention. Despite the age difference that loomed between them, I could sense the profound impact the experience had on him, as he was captivated by the unwavering confidence she radiated. Every gesture and word she selected was meticulously designed to captivate her attention, guaranteeing that her thoughts were consumed entirely by her presence. Just as they were on the brink of sensing my presence, teetering on the edge of uncertainty, I made the fateful decision to retreat. A surge of warmth intertwined with an unsettling curiosity enveloped me, as if I had crossed the threshold into a realm unknown. As I crept silently down the corridor, a storm of questions swirled in my mind about the origins of my mother's unsettling knowledge. The haunting images replayed in my mind, shattering my peace and leaving a storm of unease in their wake. I unearthed a startling aspect of her character that shattered my former beliefs. I had never considered all those aspects before. In the end, I came to understand that it might be crucial for my husband's very happiness. In the end, I found myself at my mother's home, shattered by the revelation that my husband had chosen another. This heart-wrenching betrayal forced me to make the painful decision to leave him behind. As those thoughts swirled in my mind, I began to grapple with the weight of the decisions I had made. Instead of seeking out my husband to determine if that would yield any results, my thoughts turned to my mother's partner. The man who had shared only 2 fleeting years with me exuded an undeniable allure. His manner of expression, a mask of calm, belied the storm brewing within, while his warm smile, so inviting, pulled me into a world of unspoken tension. For a fleeting moment, doubt crept into my mind, casting shadows over the trust that bound us. I fought against it, shaking my head as if to dispel the insidious thoughts that threatened to unravel everything we had built. What thoughts are racing through my mind at this very moment? Despite its unconventional nature, a faint smile crept onto my face, igniting a flicker of intrigue within me. My curiosity propelled me into a perilous journey, one from which I may never emerge unscathed. As I stepped into the room, I closed the door with a quiet yet deliberate motion, the sound echoing in the stillness that enveloped me. The sound of the lock closing echoed ominously in the heavy silence of the night. I fell onto the sofa, my mind a tempest of chaotic images and entangled thoughts, a warmth rising within me, igniting a fire of conflicting emotions. As I lay there, the haunting images replayed in my mind, refusing to let me find solace in sleep. What kind of daughter watched her mother with keen eyes? Even more unsettling, what dark thoughts consumed me regarding the man who stood by her side? I delved deep into the turmoil of my thoughts. Yet, in that moment of turmoil, a soft whisper within me provided a flicker of solace, echoing the truth that he was not my father. If you truly want it, cast aside any constraints that bind you. Seize the fleeting moments you can hold close today. The room was thick with an oppressive weight, each thought swirling around like a storm, saturating the air with their intensity. Outside, the branches of the trees twisted and turned in the wind, their whispers intertwining with the frantic pounding of my heart. I fought to silence those thoughts, striving to plunge into the depths of the dream, but the unsettling sensation of having crossed a line held me on edge. As the first rays of light crept through the cracks in the curtains, a heavy realization settled in. It was time to face yet another day. My mind was a tumultuous haze, ensnared in the lingering shadows of a dream that was desperately fading from my grasp. Yet, an overwhelming force of resolve compelled me to rise from my sofa. I wrapped myself in the familiar embrace of the jacket that lingered by my sofa, my bare feet whispering against the floor as I ventured into the kitchen. The very core of my mother's cherished traditions. The aroma of freshly brewed coffee enveloped the room, a scent that once whispered of leisurely days, yet now bore an unmistakable weight of meaning. As I stepped inside, my gaze fell upon my mother, seated at the table, sharing breakfast with her new partner, a man whose presence felt like a shadow, still foreign and unsettling to me. His gaze was a labyrinth of emotions, a tantalizing mix of warmth and curiosity that left me both drawn in and on edge, struggling to unravel its true meaning. The moment he caught sight of me, my mother sprang to her feet, a palpable tension hanging in the air. With a soft yet probing tone, she asked about my breakfast preferences, using that familiar voice I once wielded to conceal my deepest anxieties. Less than text, I promised my mother not to worry, assuring her that I would take care of the meal preparation myself. I forced myself to appear composed as I navigated the shadows of the pantry, driven by an urgent need for a cup. As I rose, I felt the weight of the young man's gaze upon me, the gentleman with his meticulously styled hair and an inviting smile that seemed to hold secrets untold. His greeting, though warm, held an unsettling weight. His eyes remained fixed on me, scrutinizing every detail as if I were a puzzle waiting to be solved. A shiver raced down my spine, but I masked it with a soft, deceptive smile. Perhaps I believed it was simply his method of showing appreciation for me. Or perhaps it hinted at something deeper, something unspoken yet palpable. I was struck by the unsettling ease with which he asked if I had truly found enough rest. Despite the apparent lightness in his tone, the shadow in his expression cast a deep uncertainty within me. The seemingly harmless questioning haunted my thoughts, refusing to fade away. Could he have sensed my existence in the shadows? A tremor coursed through my hands, compelling me to clutch the cup with a desperate intensity. I replied with a calm facade, the coffee maker whirring to life, each sound a reminder of the tension simmering just beneath the surface. My attempts to find solace cloaked in secrecy. The gentle bubbling of water and the rich aroma of coffee filled the small room, piercing through the heavy silence that hung in the air after my statement. I sank into my chair, the weight of the moment pressing down as I focused intently on my cup of coffee. Yet, their eyes were locked onto me, igniting a playful spark that I found impossible to dismiss. With each sip of coffee, his piercing gaze bore down on me, transforming the moment into something heavy and charged. My mother, blissfully ignorant of the mounting unease in the kitchen, rose from the table with her usual grace, oblivious to the storm brewing around her. With an unwavering calmness, she declared that the moment had come to embark on her journey to work. As her colleague rose from their seat, she approached my position with an intensity that sent a shiver down my spine. As she drew near to bid farewell, an instinctive tension coursed through my body. With a smile that felt like a secret just for me, she leaned in closer, her voice barely above a whisper. Less than, have a wonderful day, greater than. Then, in a moment that hung in the air, she pressed her face softly against my cheek. Yet, her movements were shrouded in complexity. Her farewell was imbued with a warmth and affection that lingered in the air. A bittersweet reminder of what was to come. A subtle, gentle gesture, barely perceptible, yet it stirs a whirlwind of doubt and caution deep within me. In that fleeting moment, I reacted swiftly, masking my true feelings with a veneer of innocence, all while my gaze followed him and my mother as they left the house. A storm of emotions swirling within me. The door slammed shut, echoing through the heavy silence that enveloped the room, leaving me isolated with the cup of coffee that had grown cold and forgotten in my trembling hands. The relentless ticking of the clock on the wall shattered the fragile tranquility that enveloped the kitchen, each tick echoing like a heartbeat in the tense silence. I immersed myself in distractions, trying to stave off the encroaching silence. I struggled to grasp the gravity of the situation that unraveled before me. Yet, a heavy cloud of uncertainty loomed in my mind. Was that moment of closeness merely a mistake? Or did it hold a deeper meaning? As I rose to clean my cup, a sudden rush of adrenaline surged through me, my heart pounding fiercely in my chest. The man's gestures and words seemed to carry a weighty significance that ignited my curiosity. As the day unfolded, the haunting echoes of that morning intertwined with every task I faced, weaving a palpable tension that gnawed at my thoughts. That day stretched on interminably, each moment draining every ounce of energy as time crept forward. The air was thick with anticipation as I stood in the kitchen, my focus solely on the meal before me, when suddenly, the unmistakable creak of the front door echoed through the silence. As I remembered my mother's partner arriving home before my mother, a sudden flutter of unease gripped my heart. Uncertainty gripped me, yet the mere idea of being alone with him ignited a tumultuous blend of apprehension and thrill deep inside. A deep sense of unease washed over me as I grappled with the complexities of my mother's partner's struggle to define our relationship. In the end, he was the one chosen by my mother to walk alongside her in life, and it fell upon me to ensure her happiness above all else. He stepped inside with an intensity that suggested the house was an extension of his very being. He placed his suitcase and jacket on the table by the entrance, and from that moment, his voice resonated with a warmth and confidence that filled the air. The air in this home is filled with an intoxicating aroma that captivates the senses. I turned to face him as he strode into the kitchen with an air of confidence, where I was immersed in the final touches of the sausage and chorizo tacos. He moved with a delicate yet commanding elegance, each footfall on the wooden floor echoing with a subtle certainty that foreshadowed the unfolding drama to come. As he stirred in the pan, a sudden stillness enveloped him. He paused at the kitchen door, inhaling deeply the rich aroma that had demanded every ounce of his effort to create. He leaned in closer, his voice dropping to a hushed whisper as he inquired about the creation unfolding in the kitchen. I laid out my plans for him with precision, and he took a deep breath, holding it for a moment before releasing it, a wave of satisfaction washing over him. As he drew near, he uttered, less than less. There's an oddly captivating scent that lingers in the air, drawing attention and stirring curiosity. More than. In his gaze, I caught a glimpse of something both intriguing and hidden, a presence that sent a shiver down my spine, stirring an unexpected reaction I was unready to face. His gaze held for a fleeting moment, piercing through the air, as he regarded me with an intensity that spoke volumes. In a moment charged with unspoken weight, he revealed his observation that the person's husband was blind, his voice soft yet resonating with undeniable significance. Even less than before. If you persist in approaching everything with the same meticulous care and unwavering attention you devote to cooking, I am convinced that the outcome will be nothing short of extraordinary. More than just more. The weight of his stare ignited a tremor within me, not from dread, but from the thrilling uncertainty of what was to come. I fought to keep my composure, but his next words pierced through the fragile facade I had desperately tried to maintain. Your capability in that matter is beyond question, especially considering the silence that envelops your mother on the subject. It appears you left in a way that echoes her own departure. A whirlwind of frustration and confusion surged within me. I replied, striving to mask my true feelings with a facade of indignation. Yet deep down, my tone revealed the turmoil within. Insufficient. Even more so. How could you possibly address me in such a way? beyond all bounds, beyond all limits. A longing for the hidden and mysterious began to emerge, lurking in the darkest corners of my being. He stepped closer, the air thick with unspoken words. His presence sent a shiver down my spine, leaving me in a state of uncertainty, grappling with how to react. Even less than before, with the same unwavering bravery you displayed during your visit yesterday. Greater than, he said, a sharp smile playing on his face, evoking the thrill of a predator savoring its hard-won prize. Even less than before, I saw you there, but I chose to hold my silence, allowing you to complete your scrutiny unimpeded. More than just more. What if we delve into the possibilities that arise from your husband's absence? As expected, you understand. The proposal lingered in the shadows, laden with unfulfilled promises that hung heavy in the air, igniting a quiet yet insistent feelings within me to delve deeper. A hidden part of me yearned for that, yet I held back from revealing it to the world. Just as I was about to respond, the door swung open with a force that echoed through the room, and my mother stepped inside, her commanding presence filling the space like a storm ready to unleash its fury. She wrapped her arms around my mother's partner, pressing her face to his with a warmth that seemed to dissolve the heavy silence that had settled between us. In that fleeting moment, I was engulfed by a profound sense of alienation, as if I were a mere spectator in the unfolding drama of my own existence, grappling with a reality that felt utterly foreign. As I completed the final touches on dinner, the echoes of her laughter reverberated through the air, each note a vivid reminder of the warmth that enveloped the room, intensifying the moment. As we sat down for dinner, my mother's voice brimmed with enthusiasm, while I fought to keep my composure, acutely aware that he would not stay silent for long. As the meal commenced, an unsettling sensation grazed my leg beneath the table, confirming the unsettling truth of my instincts. At first, it seemed like a fortunate twist of fate, but soon that sensation intensified, sharpening into a vivid and undeniable truth. It was a struggle to come to terms with it. This individual moves with an astonishing speed that leaves one breathless. My heart raced wildly, each beat echoing in my ears as I averted my gaze, desperate to hide the overwhelming impact he had on me. Just as the clandestine actions beneath the table reached a fever pitch, the doorbell rang, shattering the charged atmosphere. I jolted awake, a surge of anticipation coursing through me as I approached the door, my heart racing at the thought of what lay beyond it. In that instant, his relative's face was etched with a grave seriousness as she delivered the devastating news. My husband had been in a traffic accident and was now in the hospital. Her words hung heavy in the air, a desperate plea for me to be the one to stand by him in this dark hour. I decided to accompany his relative, not driven by a longing for my husband, but by the unsettling realization that staying behind would probably draw me closer to my mother's partner, a notion that stirred a mix of dread and curiosity within me. Yet, I never imagined I would act that way towards my mother. The weight of having misled her in such a tragic way was a burden I never wished to bear. In the quiet moments of contemplation, I came to realize that my mother's courage overshadowed the fleeting happiness. I made the painful decision to leave, suppressing the ache of feelings within me, fully aware that, despite my deepest yearnings, I was denied that exquisite essence I craved. Your willingness to hear my stories means the world to me. As we stand on the brink of our separation, I urge you to join me on this journey by subscribing to my channel and activating notifications. Your presence is vital as we navigate the unfolding story ahead. If you found value in this content, I urge you to click the like button and show your support. I pull your dear friend Sophie into a tight embrace, feeling the weight of the moment linger between us. I can hardly wait for our next meeting.